Hey, Edgar here, the host of Snug Wrestling. Are you tired of your flimsy sunglasses that look just like everyone else's? Well, check out our friends from Aquila. These are handcrafted, limited run frames made in Los Angeles using recycled materials and built to last and look clean. They got UV protection, blue light options, and even prescription lenses. Plus, Aquila gives back 1% of every sale that goes to environmental causes. And because you listen to Snug Wrestling, you get 10% off with code SNUG at checkout. Just head to aquila.la and upgrade your eyewear responsibly. That's aquila.la, A-K-I-L-A.la. Save 10% off with promo code SNUG.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Snug Wrestling Podcast. It's time to talk about the Royal Rumble that went down this weekend. And boy, do we got a lot to talk about today. But first, the Snug Crew is here with us, Mr. Blood, Tommy, and Toxic. Mr. Blood, how the hell are you doing, bro? Welcome back, my guy. It's good to have you back, bro. You're alive.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, yours truly suffers from random bouts of vertigo. If you don't know what vertigo is, I've explained it. I'll explain it again. Essentially, in your brain fluid, you have crystals that are formed by calcium particles inside your fluid. They're supposed to stay in your brain fluid, but sometimes they leak out into your ear canal where they're not supposed to be. And when that happens, it causes severe vertigo. What's vertigo, Mr. Blood? Imagine the worst hangover you've ever had, times it by 100, and it doesn't end just because you woke up the next day. It lasts for days, for weeks, and it's the room spinning forever. You can't balance, you can't walk, you can't drive. Certain foods will make it worse. Gluten will make you puke. There's no medication you can take that stops it, and the meds that they give you don't actually work at all. So it's like being motion sick on the 10th scale, and it never fucking ends until you just wake up one day and it starts getting a little better. But it takes like you're nauseous for like 4 days straight. And then you stand up and you can't even take a piss on your own without your wife helping you sit down on the toilet. So it's very what's the word? Humbling. but aside from that, I do want to say this as the opening to this show. And I want you to clip this if you can. I was so against the Royal Rumble being in Saudi Arabia, not for any political reason or anything against the Saudi, state, but because I felt like, why does Saudi get a Rumble only because WWE is trying to kiss ass to their market? And then the show we got was the best fucking Rumble crowd I think I've heard in years. This might have been the loudest they have been for the Rumble in the last 10 years. The energy was up the entire fucking night. This crowd was so vocal, so excited, so happy to fucking be there. It immediately made me go, you know what? Give them WrestleMania 43. I want to see how loud they will be for a WrestleMania fucking event. If they were this crazy for Royal Rumble, WrestleMania 43 is going to blow the walls off that arena, because what a fucking crowd.
Wow. What a way to kick off this fucking show. Shout out to Kevin Abreu. Sounds Argentinian if I didn't know Argentinian people. Says, don't let that thing beat you, okay, Mr. Blood?
Thank you. I appreciate you. I won't. I fight back.
Tommy, how you doing, brother? How's everything over there in Illinois?
Cold as fuck. That's how it is. Luckily, it's finally starting to heat up a little bit more, where it's going from a high of 7 to now high of the mid 30s, high 40s right now. So we're finally starting to not freeze our asses off. But hey, this show in itself, I absolutely loved it. And I completely agree with him when he says that just give them WrestleMania 43. If they are this vocal for the start of the road to WrestleMania, imagine how loud they are going to be for the finish line of this road.
I think you guys are right. I think you guys are absolutely right. I mean, it's already, you guys are saying, give it to them, give it to them. Well, they already gave it to them. It's going to happen. It's already been set in stone, right?
Well, yeah, it has been. But when I say that, what I mean is like, I'm no longer fighting against it. Like so many of us thought it was such a bullshit PR stunt for them to be like, oh, we're going to have a Saudi Arabia Royal Rumble, even though 2.5 years ago we had John Cena go out there and try to kiss London's ass about a WrestleMania in London. And then the first ever WrestleMania that's not in North America is ever going to be in the Middle East in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I thought, what a political fucking stunt on WWE's part. While, you know, Saudi gets accused of trying to sports wash by using American sports to do so, to make themselves look better in the eyes of the American public on the world news stage. But then I heard the crowd and I thought, you know what? It's not about the Saudi government, right? It's not about whatever bullshit ass-kissing arrangement that TKO has with Saudi, that even before TKO did, WWE have with Saudi. Those fans last night proved that they care about these stories. They care about these characters. There were people crying at the end of the AJ Styles match. They care. And when I saw that level of care, that level of, they were just so into it, I thought, you know what? I cannot blame a people for their government, right? How ignorant of me. These fucking people, I think, proved that they are a crowd that deserves the hype of what a WrestleMania. Toxic?
I'm doing really well. Things are heating up here in Texas after the ice or snowstorm, whatever you want to call that. After the cold, I guess you can call it, came in, but it's starting to heat up. It felt really freaking great. It felt like upstate New York, which it's always cold up there. I went up there a couple months ago. But anyways, I'm doing good and completely agree with the guys. I mean, at first I was like, are you really gonna do this? I mean, just the Saudi shows are kind of mid themselves, and then I heard the crowd and I'm like, okay, you know what? Give it to them. I'm fine with this. But the show, in my opinion, it had its flaws and it had its goods or its ups. So
Yeah.
excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I definitely felt the same way, man. This show had its ups as well as their downs. It wasn't the best show, obviously. You know, there's things I loved about it, but there's things I didn't like about it. And we're going to break this all down. But I'm glad you guys are all here. I'm glad you guys are doing good. I'm glad that the snow is starting to settle a little bit over there where you're at, Toxic. Let's talk about this Women's Royal Rumble because they kicked things off with this one, right? Did you guys see that clip that they did of the whole Power Rangers thing or whatever, where all the women were like, well, if they're making fun of us about dressing up like Power Rangers, well, let's make a video about it.
It's funny because I actually clocked it while the show was going on. As soon as they started coming out, I was like, hold on a second. Why does that feel so familiar? And it wasn't until EO came out, I was like, that girl is dressed up like the Yellow Ranger. Like, straight, because the Yellow Ranger is usually like Asian. So and I was like, hold on a second. That's the Yellow Power Ranger. And then I think Maxine was the Red Ranger. And I was like, hold on. And then I looked at Charlotte. I was like, wait, she's doing a version of that like scaled up, more amphibious styled costume of the Green Ranger. Because there's so many iterations of the Power Rangers. And then the more I saw it, I was like, holy fucking shit. There were so many, like, in my opinion, iconic outfit throwbacks in the show for the girls specifically.
Oh, they don't even get blood started with this.
Well, my favorite, and I can't believe I'm saying this, was Roxanne Perez. She was doing like a reverse Shigo from Kim Possible, which is my generation and Snug's generation of Disney from 25 years ago. And, you know, when we were kids, that was one of the most popular shows of all time. I know a lot of y'all didn't even exist then. Talking to you, Tox.
That's my favorite anime of all time.
It is not an anime. It is a cartoon. But,
not even close to being an anime, dude. Not even close.
But her Shigo was great. But just because you know the Saudi government, you know, it's against their laws to allow, I guess, women to revealing skin in a public format if they are going to be entertainers on stage in front of their people, because they don't want it to give ideas to the women of their country. The women of their country are not considered first-class citizens like they are here in like the U.S. or in like Canada, you know, so or in like England. They are very much second-class citizens, and they have to go by certain rules. When you look in the audience and you see women in the audience, they're in, you know, low-cut sleeve shirts like what I'm wearing. And you could see their arms and skin, but then you also see some of them in the hijabs and they're in their wraps and everything. And but I think that if the girls can find ways to where, you know, they find a way to stand out in the coolest ways, where they look like superheroes out there, right? They look like these awesome characters and these incredible outfits that they've put together for them. It's hard to complain when so much creativity came out.
The Women's Rumble was not surprising at all. One of the best matches of the night. I mean, that's usually normal for a Royal Rumble. But here is what I like to call toxic facts about the Royal Rumble. I need to sound enthusiastic whenever I do the men.
I didn't know we were even talking about the Rumble. I thought we were just talking about the outfits.
Oh, but yeah, the outfits were cool too. But the Iron Woman of the Women's Royal Rumble is last year's Royal Rumble winner, Charlotte Flair, lasting for, I don't know, I didn't write that down, but it was like
59 minutes, 49 seconds.
That. Lash Legend had the most eliminations with only 5. Liv Morgan is the first female superstar to win the Rumble from number 14. So I thought that was interesting. And for my actual thoughts, I feel like Liv was the best choice to win, but I would have liked to see a returning Tiffany Stratton, yes, fuck you, blood, to win, but Liv fits more. I mean, next year if they want, they can do Tiffany, but Tiffany looks so much better in the ring to me than what she did before. Like, I didn't see any of the like other people calling spots or I don't know what it was. She just looked so much better to me in the ring, and I'm glad that she is back.
Well, before Tommy goes, because I didn't know we were talking about the actual Rumble, I thought we were talking about the suits. I'm gonna go and get my thoughts on the Rumble match then. The Women's Rumble, was it better than last year's? I think that's a little difficult. Last year, a lot of people liked the Rumble, and then I think last year's Rumble gets brought down because people didn't like that Charlotte won. But I remember last year's Rumble being really good, the women's anyway. I liked this year's. However, this year's, it wasn't lackluster. It was just, it took a while for anything of note to happen. It wasn't until like the fucking middle of the Rumble, like at entrant 20, that any big, like really major eliminations took place. Any major like returns started happening. We got the surprise return of Brie Bella, the best Bella, in my opinion, who got, in my opinion, one of the loudest pops of the fucking night. I was not expecting the crowd that happy to see Brie. But also it does look like, surprise, surprise, they're turning Brie and Nikki face because they spent a lot of this time facing off against what I believe was Liv and Raquel, back and forth. And it seems like they were kind of working in wrestling face. But when it comes down to it, I think Liv was ultimately the right winner. I did get really excited and got my hopes up when at least Soul was in the final 3. I really thought for a moment, I believed she could do it. And I thought, oh my God, we're giving an NXT girl a shot. Fuck yeah, something new. Glad it wasn't Tiffany. After her title reign, that was majority of last year. I just do not need to see her in the title picture for a while, at least not in the main. She can be in the mid card, but God damn it, bro. Her run sucked. She put on some very underwhelming matches, and there was a lot of just too much of the same shit with her and not enough defenses. I don't need to see her hold that title again. But congrats to Liv. She made the most sense. We felt the loss and lack of Liv for 7 months last year when she went out on that shoulder. And the women's division felt so off and so wrong without her in it. So to have her win this Rumble, I guess WWE realized just how much they need Division 2. So I'm really excited to see where this goes from here. And she fired the first shot against Raquel. So I think that's finally a story beat into the dissension and destruction from within of the Judgment.
Even though Liv was asked about that elimination, and her response was, if I know Raquel like I think I know Raquel, she's not selfish. She'll be happy for me. Girl, you immediately pushed her out the moment you had the full chance to. I think Raquel's going to be a little bit pissed at you for that. Even though, yes, she does have that match literally tomorrow night with Stephanie Vaquer, which that's going to be interesting. I think I already have a prediction for that one. I think Raquel's getting that title. We get Liv versus Raquel at WrestleMania. That's my guess there. But this whole thing, this entire match, god damn Lash Legend. That damn entire performance from Lash Legend. Holy crap. They definitely took Lash Legend and said, hey, we're going to run with you and give you the most eliminations of the fucking night. You know, besides Oba Femi in the men's, but we'll get to that. But Brie Bella, I was hoping for Paige. That's who I was really, really hoping for. But welcome to what I like to call the only way to make Nikki Bella interesting now. Because that's probably what they actually listened to, is the fact that the fans hated the fact that it was only Nikki Bella there, and they wanted Brie there to kind of even her out. Because it's literally the only way to make Nikki Bella interesting at this point is to bring in her twin sister.
Yeah, I would say overall, this Women's Royal Rumble of 2026 was interesting. I think that's the best word to describe it. I wouldn't say it was great. I wouldn't say it was good, but it served its purpose. Like, there was a lot of stories that were told in this Royal Rumble, a lot of turns, a lot of shenanigans, some entertaining ones like, Liv Morgan eliminating Raquel Rodriguez. I think it was Kairi Sane who accidentally eliminated Asuka.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had, what was the other one? It was, there was another one. There was a lot of things happening in this Royal Rumble.
Charlotte with Alexa.
Thank you. Charlotte with Alexa Bliss, right, Blood?
Yes. And I would like to say, before we move on, back to how I opened this episode, the crowd was insane. And they made these women all feel like big deals, which is a great thing. Just about every woman in this match got their time to shine on more than one occasion. Chelsea Green stealing the show, just stealing the show, trying to team up with Raquel and Liv, and then when she's almost eliminated, Alba Fire saves her 3 fucking times and even stands on her back and and to stay in the Rumble. But what I wanted to say was the crowd, being as great as they were, elevated this match, because had this match taken place in the States, I think people would be much more down on this match. I think it, because we're so desensitized to wrestling because it's an oversaturation in this market, that we're not going to look at this and not have some kind of entitlement to how we should have booked it. Who should be in it? Where's AJ Lee? Where's Paige? Why did this person win? Because we're just going to pick it apart. The Saudi fans were so starved for a spectacle, because they only get us like 2-3 times a year, that they took this match through their energy and brought it up like 4 notches. I genuinely believe this women's Royal Rumble was received better than it had the right to be because the crowd elevated it with their energy. And that's why it's so important to have a great crowd in a wrestling show. That's why when you go back to COVID with no crowds, wrestling was weird. It was flat. It felt off. A crowd is a massive fucking part of the show. And they really did help this match deliver past the field goal, because I definitely think without that crowd, they would have been yards behind.
Shout out to all of our people from the UK. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We got to talk about the elephant in the room before we switch gears here. The return of Brie Bella. Mr. Blood, you mentioned that they're going to go after, I believe you said Raquel and the Judgment Day, right?
It feels like it, yeah, because they tried to set up stuff between Nikki and Liv right before Liv went out. Because remember, Liv was supposed to have a match against Brie at Evolution last year. And that got halted due to her injury, and the whole match card had to get changed. Nikki's match involvement got changed. And then as soon as they got the chance in this Rumble, they squared them off face-to-face again, almost immediately. And then it looked like the whole time Nikki and Brie were wrestling face against all the heel teams in the match. But when it came to them squaring up against, Raquel and Liv, they were being cheered. So one's got to imagine they were waiting on Brie to come back so they could turn Nikki face, because they only turned Nikki heel simply because they had nothing else for her to do.
But here's the thing, though. So this is one of the things that I noticed about this women's Royal Rumble, that it was heavily focused on the women's tag team division. Now, I don't have a problem with that. The only thing that I was thinking about was the women's tag team champions are Rhea and Io Sky, which great champions, top stars in the women's division, right? But if you bring back the Bella Twins, you would think that that's the marquee name to go up against a tag team like Rhea and Io Sky at a WrestleMania. But now you have that dynamic there. Rhea and Io are major baby faces. You have to, if you put them against the Bella Twins are going to have to heal.
Again, when it comes to the Bellas, so here's the thing with the Bellas. Their biggest run together was when they were when they had begun the relationships with Daniel Bryan and John Cena. That's when WWE really put a rocket on their backs. The thing with the Bellas, though, is that they did not stay together that long in their heel turns, because it was Nikki, if I remember correctly, who turned on Brie and then literally had a whole match against her with Stephanie McMahon in her corner, and was like, like Nikki told Brie she should have died in the womb. Like their biggest collaboration was when they had broken apart as a team and they feuded against each other. So if they work together, I'm fine with them working as heels. But do I think the Bellas can give a top tier performance with the little that they do wrestle and the years it's been since Brie has wrestled? Can they really give the fans an incredible match that's Mania caliber against Rhea and Io? I guess we're gonna have to wait and see how much they get Brie in the ring and how much ring rust gets shaken off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. All right, fellas, before we move on, any closing thoughts on the Women's Royal Rumble? Anything that we missed?
I'd like to add one thing. So whenever Alba got dragged into the ring when trying to save Chelsea from the Judgment Day, I noticed that Wade Barrett said whenever she got thrown out, but technically not eliminated, that next year, if she's in the Rumble, she should be pre-eliminated. So, I mean, and she got eliminated twice. So the next 2 years, I mean, just you're pre-eliminated. I'd like to see that.
My closing thought is, I don't know how bad Bianca's injury is. I thought it was just a hand injury, but to keep her out this long, she's been gone for what, 6 months more?
No, bro, since last year at WrestleMania.
Like, legitimately, I don't know if she's planning on moving on. I don't know if they ever doing other ambassador stuff, but at what point do you bring her back? I mean, when I look at this Mania or with this Rumble top to bottom, there were at least 4 slots you could have subbed the fuck out to put Bianca in. Even if you didn't bring back Paige or AJ. AJ is the one that surprised me, that she wasn't a surprise. But, I mean, Paige is like not even signed, but AJ, the pop she would have got in that Rumble is crazy to me. But there are people you could have left out of this Rumble that didn't have to be or that you knew didn't have a snowball's chance in hell. And, hold on. Shout out to Kevin Abreu for D4X. People on Twitter say she's pregnant. Well, if we, I guess we're going to need that confirmation. But I mean, it comes down to it. There were other people that I think you could have put in here. Brie was a great surprise, but not giving AJ the biggest spotlight, in my opinion, on the road to WrestleMania to really hype the fans up was a surprise to me.
Yeah, just simply put, there were multiple returns that I was definitely expecting. Bianca being one of them. AJ Lee, since we haven't seen her since War Games.
Since she helped Maxine win.
Yeah, we haven't seen her since then. So there were a couple returns I was expecting, but instead they decided, hey, look, Brie Bella and Tiffany Stratton. So that is really my only gripe about this match, is the fact that there were those that I was expecting that they just didn't end up with.
All right, you guys, I think it's time to move on now. I think we covered everything that went down in the Women's Royal Rumble and then some. But we have to talk about the next match. We are going in order. So the next match is Gunther versus AJ Styles. Holy shit. Mr. Blood, I know you got a lot of thoughts about this one, bro. Because goddamn, bro. We had one hell of a match between Gunther and AJ Styles, man. Like, goddamn, Gunther was all over AJ Styles, man. AJ Styles, man, I felt like the whole time he was fighting underneath. You know, he was getting his ass beat left and right, and I was worried. I was panicking. I was nervous. I felt bad for AJ Styles, man. And then as soon as I felt like we saw the same camera angle from when Gunther tapped out John Cena, the same sleeper hold, the same camera angle, the same everything, I was like, oh, fuck, AJ Styles is going to tap out. Is AJ Styles going to tap out the same way that John Cena tapped out? But no, AJ Styles did not tap out, man. The referee just called it off, man. AJ Styles passed out. Gunther submitted AJ Styles, man. Fucking crazy, bro. What the fuck?
First off, I'd like to say, AJ Styles, thank you for 25 years. Thank you. I've met you many times. I have your autograph. You are one of, if not the best of your entire generation. When it comes down to it, if you're going to go out, if you're going to have a retirement match, no matter where it is, no matter what show it's on, I hope that you hope it's as good as AJ Styles versus Gunther. AJ, talk about talk about one hell of a performance. If this is your final, if you are one of those wrestlers that sticks to your word and says, this is it, I'm done. Man, you left it all in the ring. There is not a single thing you need to come back and prove to any. This was a hard-fought match. It was brutal. 5 minutes in, AJ slices his freaking forearm open. I mean, it was great. Technical, brawling. I mean, it was AJ just going back for that leg, getting out of the sleepers with elbows to the constantly making Gunther let go. At first, I thought Gunther was going to try to tap him out with the cravat, the way he did LA Knight in the John Cena tournament, because I thought that was going to be a new finisher in his arsenal, and he's never used it since. But there was the point where we got on the side of AJ in a what looked like a half cross face, and I thought he was going to turn into a cravat, and he never did. But, you know, what a fucking phenomenal performance. And for people who are going to be upset, and there are a lot of people who are mad at this finish because they feel like, well, I mean, why did John Cena have to tap out, but AJ gets to pass out? It's simple. I'll explain to you this right now. This is the importance of storytelling. John Cena's character had come to the end where he had a whole year to accept his goodbye. John Cena tapped out of his career. He did not give up. He did not quit. He simply was content and told everybody, hey, it's okay. AJ did not have a year to, in character, that is, to make peace with this, to give up on this. He knew he had gas in the tank. He knew he could keep going in character. We're talking kayfabe here. So John Cena's reason for tapping and AJ's reason for giving up until he's unconscious, or not giving up until he passes out, there's a reason. AJ in story could have kept going, so he was fighting to save his career from ending. John Cena had a year that was ending with that match and knew it was over anyway. So when it comes down to it, I like that AJ passed out because he went out without giving an ounce up to Gunther. And it was great.
Oh, fuck. Well, we already know what 2 words are coming out of my mouth. Fuck Gunther. But no, seriously, fuck him. But, it just hits differently because, yes, I haven't been around that long of like the 2 in the top corner. But I mean, it still hits differently because I'm human. I have the right to think what I want, but I don't know. It just hit different, and there's not really many words that I can to describe this. But this makes you wonder now that AJ is done. Who's next? Who's next to go? And I mean, this motherfucker's gonna start collecting legends like fucking Infinity Stones. But just one final thought, and it's ironic that I'm saying this because it's one of the people that he retired. Who's next?
Yeah, it's very simple here. I have, in fact, seen the memes of all of the faces he's retired, and along with like 2 others on the Infinity Gauntlet with Gunther as Thanos. I have, in fact, seen that meme. One of them was Brock Lesnar in the meme that I saw, but I don't think he's going up against Brock. I think that's going to be held for Braun Breaker.
No.
But
rumor has it that that's Gunther's match at Mania this year, then a second rematch at SummerSlam in Minnesota to retire Brock. And those are the reports.
But Snug, I did end up looking it up right before we started this tonight. I was right during our predictions. 10 years since he debuted in the WWE. He debuted at the Royal Rumble, and now he's leaving at the Royal Rumble. It is full fucking circle, gentlemen. Completely full circle. He came in the exact same place as he came out.
In fucking sane, Tommy. That's fucking a wild fucking story right there. 10 years of storytelling right there, bruh, right? I think it's safe to say. But you guys, I got to bring this up before we move on to the next match. I have this weird feeling that this is not the end of AJ Styles. Maybe it is the end of AJ Styles in the WWE. But AJ Styles said he's going to retire in the year of 2026. But did he actually say, I'm going to retire from the WWE and be completely done?
What he said specifically was, I'm ending my career in 2020. This match, the story of this match was not, if I beat you, then your WWE career is over. It was, if I beat you, your in-ring career is over. Mm-hmm. Meaning, you're done, period, if I beat you here. Not just in WWE, your career is done. AJ Styles made it very clear that 2026 would be his last year, but he also made it clear he would not wrestle past 50. And he will be 49 this year. Now, I also, even though TNA does typically book people on like 6-month contracts a lot, and let's just say he got on one, I don't see him sullying what he did with. He's not the type of, there are certain wrestlers that chase glory, that you can feel that they need the spotlight to feel like they mattered. Goldberg, Bret Hart, Ric Flair, like there are people that you look at and they feel like, hey, I can still go. These people still love me. They don't want to be the bingo hall wrestler. They don't want to be at some in-town convention signing autographs with 80 people in the building. AJ is one of those guys who, with WWE, has made more than enough money to retire on.
No,
I
yeah.
don't see him sullying what he did with Gunther and the goodbye, that perfect goodbye on a perfect match, just so he can finish out the year in TNA.
No,
I just don't see it.
I agree with you 1000%, Mr. Blood. For him to go to TNA, it makes perfect sense. It's kind of expected. But if we want to talk about game changers, not just in TNA and WWE, I'm talking about wrestling as a whole. AJ Styles, if he were to go to AEW for whatever fucking miracle, whatever fucking reason, we want to talk about game changers. AEW has hired many fucking WWE wrestlers, right? They've named them game changers time and time again. But if we want to talk about for real game changers, if AJ Styles were to go to AEW, I'm talking complete cinema, bro. Complete cinema. And for me, as a wrestling fan, I would love to see that.
Are you rage baiting?
No, I'm being genuine. I'm being for real.
Look, here's the thing. If AJ wanted to keep going, don't you think he would have signed another contract? Don't you think WWE asked him? I'm sure someone tried to convince him. What about an extension? What if we kept you a couple more months for a closing? If AJ himself wanted to finish at Mania, I am sure with the amount of equity he has in the company, he could have been like, hey, if I sign a 3-month extension, could we end my career at Mania against anybody you want me to end it at?
Let me ask you this, Mr. Blood. If AJ Styles were to go to AEW, would that not want to make you tune in even a little bit? That wouldn't just spark your curiosity just a little bit to tune in to AEW?
No, because one, their booking is trash, and two, it would completely slap in the face all of Gunther's work in that story with him, all the fans who had that emotional connection and goodbye to him in the arena. And it would be a slap in the face of the fact that the very company that made him an even bigger star than he already was, and then full circled him to the end in front of a massive fucking sold out international crowd. And then you go, well, thanks for that, guys. I'm going to go kick it over here for 6 to 8 months. Like, it would feel wrong. It would feel like, well, what the fuck it'd be like Ric Flair retiring in the perfect match with Shawn Michaels in WrestleMania in 2008. WrestleMania 24. I watched that match live. I was in the building. To see him pop up in TNA almost a year later pissed me off, because I was there at TNA the night he debuted. And I was like, the fuck? I cried my eyes out when you went out. And now you're just here. And it's just, no, stop ruining your retirements, guys. Stick to them so they're perfect bookends on hard-fought careers. That's what I think.
I want to give a quick shout out to Kevin Abreu again, because he has some really good comments. He said, WWE, you think WWE booking is perfect? Please stop. We don't think that. We don't think that at all.
I don't think
other
that,
wrestling
sure
company
better than AEW.
Don't have to be one. No, we're not saying that WWE booking is perfect. We're not saying that, but Mr. Blood is explaining himself and bringing up points of why AJ Styles going to AEW does not make sense. And
like
and even though I don't agree, but he has some good points. Hear him out.
It's fine that like, let's say, like, okay, Edge went to AEW because he wants to finish his career there, even though he's a homegrown damn near WWE superstar. So is Christian. But guess what? They did not retire and then go to AEW. They did not have a goodbye match in WWE and then fuck off to AEW. No, they let their contract go, didn't renew, and then went. AJ had a whole fucking career-ending match. That was the stipulation. A stamp and a perfect goodbye on his character of 26 years. To then have that and then go and wrestle more. Let me ask you this. Did you guys love Shawn Michaels' retirement at WrestleMania 26? Was it not the most perfect fucking final match of his career? Oh, wait, it's not, right? Because then they paid him a fuck ton of money to go to Saudi Arabia to have the Brothers of Destruction versus DX and then have one of the worst tag matches in the last 10 years. Wow, that was worth it, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It fucked up. It ruined the end of what his retirement was. He had a perfect bookend. You know what I'm saying? Let things lie is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's
Thank you for your comment.
His career wasn't over.
Yeah. Thank you for your comment, Kevin. Really good comment.
Snug, if I could add something real quick, it's just a
Yes,
correction
please,
for
Toxic.
Blood.
Go ahead.
Edge did have a retirement match. That was against Sheamus on SmackDown in 2023. He said, "Hey, this is my last match in WWE," which he did say in WWE. So I don't know why I'm adding this, but I mean, he did say that this is my retirement match. Yeah.
I didn't hear him say the words retire, but he announced it's his final match in the company. But that's different than going, "Hey, Sheamus, if you beat me, this is the end of I'll put my career on the line."
Yeah.
It's totally different than this is my last match.
Yeah. So I just thought
All right, you guys. Let's go on to the Undisputed Championship match. Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn, y'all. Holy shit. Another crazy ass match because they're in Saudi Arabia. Sami Zayn was a favorite to win this damn thing. And a lot of people were thinking Drew McIntyre is just a transitional champion. He's a placement holder and blah, blah, blah. It makes sense for Sami Zayn to win this thing, right? And it did. It made sense for Sami Zayn to win it. He was the favorite to win it. But nay, Drew McIntyre retained, but not without Sami Zayn putting up one hell of a fucking fight. I do gotta admit. But Drew McIntyre came through as the dominant champion, and he looked amazing. Drew McIntyre defeated Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia. The Drew McIntyre title reign continues, fellas. How did you guys feel about this one?
This was the only low point on the card for me. And it's not for the reasons you think. I think 100% Drew needed to retain. I did not want Drew to be a transitional champion. He's put in too much fucking work over the last 2 years into his heel character to finally get the title and then get dicked out of it in 23 days. It would have been fucking stupid. I love Sami Zayn. Oh my God. I loves me that crazy Canadian Saudi. I really do. But when it comes down to it, I said this before, I will say it again, it's a hill I will die on. If you want to put the title on Sami for the biggest possible crowd, for the biggest possible moment, for what will feel like to fans, the most earned moment of his career, you have him do the big one at WrestleMania 43, which is also in Saudi Arabia. Because even though fans do not buy into Sami being an underdog anymore, we just don't. I'm sorry. The guy main evented WrestleMania with Kevin Owens, for Christ's sake, won the tag titles. He beat Gunther. He ended Gunther's 660-day fucking reign, for corn's sakes. So that tells me if he can beat Gunther, he can beat John Cena. If he can beat Gunther, that tells me he is world champion material because Gunther's a two-time world champion. So with that regard, it's hard for me to think, oh, this guy's an underdog. The guy has beaten former world champions before they were even world champions, and he had their number. So my thing with this match is that Drew was the right guy. What I did not like, what was the low point for me, was how much Sami had to sell and give to Drew. This was not an even match. This was not a fucking, fighting from underneath and holding my own. Sami got his fucking ass kicked. And dude, I did not like that they had Sami look like such a weakling compared to Drew. I want you to remember what I just said. Sami beat Gunther definitively and clean 2 years ago to end that IC title reign. The year before that, Gunther beat Drew and Sheamus at the same time in a triple threat match for that IC title. He power bombed Sheamus on top of fucking Drew to end that match. So again, if Sammy can beat Gunther clean, why can't he beat Drew with less effort? Why can't he hold his own against Drew with less effort? That's what I'm talking about. That was my only gripe. Like, WWE, you got to keep it consistent. Sammy should not be getting his ass kicked. I know that, oh, hey, I did the plancha, and when I landed, I wrenched my back. But that's such a cop-out to make sure he can get his ass beat, and then you think it's protecting him. It didn't look like it was protecting him. It made him look weak. Because I've seen Sammy get dog-walked worse than this shit and still win. He got a worse beating at the hands of the Usos at Mania with Kevin in like a 30-minute tag match and still won. So it's just like, I get it. Drew's the right call, but you shouldn't make Sammy look that fucking weak. The guy was just your United States.
Yeah, I agree. This was the only match that I didn't like on the card, and it wasn't even the match itself. It was the reasoning. And like, Gunther can beat Drew, and Sammy can beat Gunther. So why can't Sammy beat McIntyre? That just doesn't make sense. And this one thing I'm going to add is only 4 letters, not one word. It should have been Randy. It should have been Randy that won the Fatal 4-Way. They only did that because they were in Canada. And I mean, if it wasn't for that, then they probably would have had someone else go over. But I just didn't like the match. It was just boring, and you obviously knew that they weren't gonna have Sammy do it. So I mean, if you want to have them run it back at Chamber and still not have him do it, that's fine with me. And then just wait until fucking next year's WrestleMania to like finally give it to him. I'm fine with that. So yeah, this match kind of sucked.
Well, that's the entire reason why he didn't win, boys. It's because of the fact that I even said it during the predictions. If it wasn't going to happen at Rumble, it's absolutely happening at WrestleMania next year, which is also in Saudi Arabia. So that is going to be a massive pop next year when Sami Zayn finally does it, because he definitely was not doing it at the Rumble, unfortunately. As much as we all wanted him to, it just wasn't going to happen. But I will absolutely give my flowers to Sami Zayn, because he still gave Drew McIntyre one hell of a fight to go through. And there was something that CM Punk said during the pre-show that I completely agree with. If Drew McIntyre has to bite off his own damn hand to retain that title, that is exactly what he's going to do. So the biggest question is, who will dethrone good old Drew McIntyre?
My thing here, too, before we move on, my quick thought. If we do hold Sammy off until next year, let's say that is a thing that they're going to do. And if we know WWE, like WWE, business-wise, it makes the most sense to put it on him in Saudi. The problem is, what do you do before it? And what do you do after it? Because we learned with Jay that the chase, we learned with Cody that the chase, and with most white meat baby faces, the chase is always going to be what the fans actually want to see versus the reign. So is Sammy going to have a great title reign? That remains to be seen until we see the booking around it. My question is, now that he's lost here again and spent all this time fighting to get to this position again since the last time he did with Roman, which was fucking 3 years ago, what the fuck do you do with him for the next year? You know what I mean? Because they were already taking him off TV toward the end of the last year for several weeks at a time, just so they could have a holding pattern until they needed to insert him again. What do you do with the next year? More filler feuds, him and Trick Williams running around? Is he going to go back to the United States division? Like, I mean, you move him back over to Raw? Do we finally get a fucking draft this year and maybe he goes to the IC title again? But that's my point. He's always going to be relegated to the upper mid card whenever they don't know where to put him in the picture. And to me, That's getting real old and real repetitive. And I don't know if I want to see that for a whole nother year.
All right, you guys. The main event was the men's Royal Rumble. At number 1 was Braun Breaker, right? The guy who was my favorite to win this whole goddamn thing.
Number 1 was Obafemi. Number 2 was Braun Breaker.
Thank you, Tommy. You right. Braun Breaker was making his way to the ring. And this fucking guy in a mask who we've never seen this before, fellas. This is the first time we've ever seen this. A guy in a hoodie shows up, attacks Braun Breaker. Obafemi takes advantage and eliminates my favorite guy to win this whole goddamn thing. Let's start off with this. We're going to get into the rest of the details of this men's Royal Rumble. I think it was Seth Rollins, but there's a lot of rumors, a lot of guesses of who this could be. Who do you guys think this is? What the hell is going on?
Austin Theory. It was Austin Theory. I've said this a million times. He's a sleeper agent for Seth. Let's look at the clues, guys. During COVID, there's only one guy still in the company out of all of Seth's disciples when Seth was still the Monday Night Messiah. His disciples were Buddy Murphy, now Buddy Matthews, Akam and Razor of the Authors of Pain, and Austin fucking Theory before Austin Theory went back down to NXT to form The Way. One, that was Austin Theory's build, because we saw that build before when he unmasked. 2, Seth is apparently still recovering because he's in the middle of PT. He made it clear in the fall that he would be getting his PT and recovery from surgery after the new year. That shit don't take a month. The man had surgery, okay? So I doubt he was hopping over barricades and fucking, running up the steps and, because all it takes when you're injured is you slip on sweat on the floor and you land on that arm. And that's it. They're not risking that for. Also, you could argue Seth is bigger than the person that was in that outfit. We've seen Seth, do this before where he's covered up. He did it with the Shield, and he looked huge. When it comes down to it, this has got to be Austin Theory. Because to me, even though he came back, why would a guy who had his own moveset, his own finishing maneuvers, randomly start returning last year and using someone else's moves that he hasn't had anything to do with, by the way, since the last time Seth was the Intercontinental Champion? So when it comes down to it, I think it's got to be Austin, because Austin is the only other person using those exact same maneuvers on TV right now. And there must be a reason behind him actually using Seth's moves. So it has to be Austin Theory. In my opinion, and I'll die on that hill, Austin Theory's build, the way that Austin Theory just moves when he wrestles, it felt like his movement. And it just makes the most sense. Seth is currently on PT, guys. He said he was doing PT right after New Year's. He just had surgery. They're not going to risk him getting in there, getting physical, slipping, and landing on that fucking arm. That's all it'll take. And guess what? He's out another 6 months. It's got to be Austin.
Not that I don't disagree with you, Blood, because it's entirely possible that it is Austin, and I truly hope that Austin is a sleeper for Seth. But, I mean, remember what he did at SummerSlam? He had the crutches on, and he dropped them and cashed in on Punk. I mean, he could just be doing this all over again just to get back at Braun. But I say this because, to me, the Masked Man looked just a little different than when Austin Theory did it. To me, at least, it did look different. But, I mean, if you're going to do this, at least have the man unmask. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of the Scooby-Doo shit. Just, if you do this again, just have them unmasked right then and there. Exactly what El Grande Americano should have done whenever we first saw him.
I would also like to add really quick, Tommy, that at the end of the day, the final clue that tells me it's Austin acting on behalf of Seth. Austin has been way too agreeable with the vision. He's willing to do whatever they say. He's willing to go along with whatever plan to make them happy. He's willing to lose on the whole plan, remember, was that he was willing to set aside his own aspirations for the Rumble just so Braun could win. They all were. But lo and behold, the moment Braun's gone, they all try their damnedest to win it. don't they? But at the end of the day, when you really think about it, the final clue is this. When the Masked Man originally appeared at War Game, the first person and only person he went after was CM Punk. The one person Seth has the biggest problem with more than even Braun Breaker. He went straight for Punk. That's why I think it's Austin as a conduit for Seth. Attacking Punk first and only was the one thing, because he swore, as long as I'm breathing, you will never be champion. But now there was no one to stand in his way when he got injured. I think it's got to be.
Yeah, I'm also going with Austin Theory because of literally everything that Blood just said and more. But I have heard the dumbest theory on who the hell this could be. For some bizarre reason, there are actually people out there saying that the Masked Man is Jake fucking Paul. And I can tell you right now, that is not him. He is currently dealing with a damn plate that's holding his damn jaw together right now from being knocked the hell out. That is not Jake Paul. It's just not him.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. But I did see a picture, very interesting picture of the masked guy who, most of his face was covered up except for the little goatee area. And then someone else posted a picture of Logan Paul. Kind of had the similar facial hair. So a lot of people believe that it was actually Logan Paul who attacked Braun Breaker.
But Logan is taller than Austin. He's like
That
6
is
foot.
also true.
He's like 6'4", and that guy was not 6'4" that attacked.
No, he was not. Definitely not.
That guy. Now Austin's a big guy, but Austin is also very lean and cut. He's not massive bulging muscles except for his arms, but he's a leaner figure. That was a leaner figure in that getup. But I'd also like to note the fact that it had to be Austin because he's already there. You're going to fly the person who's actually the masked person halfway across the world for a minute and a half of TV time? I know they did it for the Rumble, but shit, those people were actually in the match. For an angle, you'll fly someone who's not even on the roster regularly on regular TV, who wouldn't have been there normally, all the way out to Saudi? No, I don't buy it.
Well, obviously, this was one of the major highlights of this men's Royal Rumble, but we got to move on because there's a lot of things to talk about here. The other thing, too, that really stood out to me was La Parca, Mr. Iguana were a part of this Royal Rumble. I was in Tijuana the night before the Royal Rumble where La Parca and Mr. Iguana were scheduled to be there. They did not appear, obviously, because they were in Saudi Arabia. Cool, perfect. They got their spot in the Royal Rumble, but a lot of fans were upset about this because they're like, okay, as much as we love La Parca, obviously a legend in Lucha Libre history, this character goes back to the fucking 90s. La Parca was part of WCW and all this other shit. Mr. Iguana is over with the wrestling fans, but we're going to give these two guys from AAA a spot in the Royal Rumble, but we're not going to give it to Finn Balor? Finn Balor was not in the Royal Rumble. We saw that segment with Adam Pearce where Adam Pearce was like, the Royal Rumble is full. So we have these guys from AAA, but we don't have Finn Balor in the Royal Rumble. How you guys feel about that?
I'll do you one better or worse, depending on how you take it. Here's a massive plot hole. Adam Pearce told Finn Balor, well, I'm sorry, unfortunately, all of our slots are filled up. Adam Pearce, you're going to sit here and tell me that you didn't book 2 El Grande Americanos in the same match? You're going to sit there and tell me, even though it's a random drawing, you wrote the names down, you put them in the fucking spinning thing, in the little capsules for them to draw their numbers, and you're going to sit here and tell me that you did not write down El Grande Americano and original El Grande Americano? That tells me that there's 2 of them, and that at least one of them is Chad Gable, who I'm excited to actually see with facial hair. I think that'll be interesting because he had a whole beard and everything. But for me, I'm just like, massive plot hole. You booked the same character twice, but you couldn't get Finn in there. And then you put Mr. Iguana in there, and this might be a hot take, so forgive me, y'all. I am not impressed with Mr. Iguana. I think he wrestles extremely underwhelmingly. I was watching him in there, man. The man.
You're not wrong.
Pardon me.
You're not wrong.
He's not good.
You're not wrong.
He is straight up a gimmick. And his wrestling in there he was slow. He was sluggish. He seemed like he needed more time to set up his shtick. And he spent more time making sure that the iguana fucking puppet stayed in his mouth and he didn't lose it, more than he focused on making sure his wrestling looked much cleaner than it actually.
It's a comedy gimmick.
Yeah, and it's not funny.
You're not wrong. Boys?
Not that I didn't enjoy their spots, because I did enjoy La Parka and Mr. Iguana entering the Rumble, but two names from TNA I wanted to see in this Royal Rumble, and those two names are Jeff Hardy and Leon Slater. I wanted to see them so bad in this Rumble, especially because Javon was in there, and just those spots would be so freaking cool. So, I mean, I'm not mad that they were in the Rumble, but just there could have been some other names from TNA. Like, you could have thrown Joe Hendry in there. He's in NXT right now. You could have thrown Miles Bourne, Ethan Page, fucking Ricky Saints. I mean, just there was so many options. But at the end of the day, I'm not mad that Mr. Iguana and La Parka was in, because I've actually never seen La Parka wrestle. So that was a very good experience and showing for me. Mr. Iguana, I like his comedy gimmick, so screw you, Blood. I'm just kidding. But I'm happy that they were in there.
No, I am too. As a huge fan of AAA, because I was just there last night, it makes sense that they brought them over to the Royal Rumble, because they have to have like those wrestlers that just to fill the spots, we have to have 30 people, right? Finn Balor is a major character. We're not going to have Finn Balor just get him eliminated or whatever, So, yeah, let's have La Parca. Let's have Mr. Iguana to do the job, Throw them over the top rope. We're going to show them, throw them over the top rope. It makes sense, In that sense, okay.
I think it's also fair to showcase AAA when last year you showcased TNA. I think it's fair. You have a partner, you own one of them, and you're in a partnership with the other. So I think if you're going to showcase TNA, you need to be fair and showcase the promotion you just bought to give those guys face time. I'm not mad at it. Hell, the La Parka one popped me. Never heard of him before. But I'm in a movie right now that we've been filming, and my character that I play, a masked character, I can't tell you the title of the movie that I'm even, but my character is named La Parka. So when I heard that, I went, hey, it could be me. But look, I'm glad that AAA got the showcase, but they could have picked. I mean, could have put Vikingo in this shit. There are other wrestlers that should have been in here that would have put on a better showing. I think La Parka did great. La Parka impressed me. Mr. Iguana, I was like, oh, the Santino Marella spot. Okay.
That's what it is, bro. Honestly.
And we had enough of that already. We had the El Grande shit. That was already comedy shit already. We had tons of comedy. But Tommy?
So when it comes to the El Grande Americano stuff, I love the fact that they recreated that one fucking Spider-Man meme of them pointing at each other. That was the biggest thing that I noticed. But when it comes to the AAA stuff, I completely agree that, yeah, sure, you really want to put a few in there. But come on, you couldn't have evened it out between the 5 things? Like, you could have had a couple TNA guys in, a couple AAA guys in, a couple NXT guys in, and then mainly your main roster people. Like, you easily could have evened this shit out so much better than you did. I would have loved to see some of the TNA guys in there. Put in both of the Hardys and Leon Slater. Yes, please. Put them back on main roster TV since they've shown up on NXT. I would have popped so hard for that. But they just didn't end up doing anybody from TNA at all. It was all AAA, NXT, and main roster. This entire show was. There was not a single person from TNA. And that is honestly what sucks to me, because having Leon Slater in there, still, even though he is extremely hot right now, absolutely would have done so much for him.
Well, besides that, one of the other major highlights of this men's Royal Rumble was the debut of Powerhouse Willie Hobbs, showed up as Royce Keys. We didn't get Chris Jericho. We didn't get any of the major returns that we were expecting, but I popped big for Royce Keys. It was so dope to see him in a WWE ring because
You're the only one who popped for him.
I mean, I've been a huge fan of Will Hobbs. I've been watching him in AEW since it first started. I've been watching AEW for the longest time. I've been saying I've been dying to see him in WWE. I want to see him in WWE. I want to see what he can do. This guy has so much potential. I want to see him in the WWE stage, and I saw him, and I was just like mind blown, bro. I was like, oh my god, it's fucking happening, bro.
I like
Royce
him
Keys,
because,
Will Hobbs in the WWE ring, bro, was fucking crazy.
I like him because Mark Henry's the one who scouted him. When Mark used to be a scout for AEW, he's the one who found Jade Cargill. He found Powerhouse Hobbs. And he even does the homage to with the World's Strongest Slam. But the thing is, this was the wrong place to debut him. Because here's the problem, guys. He got almost no reaction from the live audience because they don't have AEW in Saudi Arabia. If you're going to debut him, it should have been on Monday Night Raw when you're back in the States. I feel like it was such a disservice to this guy because no one there knew who the fuck he was.
But what if they did that on purpose, bro? What if this was like, okay, you guys don't know him, but we're going to introduce y'all to him. We want to present him as this new guy that nobody knows.
That's true, but Saudi is also that same audience, that same market that wants to see the biggest action figures get smacked together. That's why the government was like, no, we need Undertaker versus Goldberg. We need the Brothers of Destruction versus D-Generation X. We need this match and that match. We want Brock versus Goldberg. Like, we want, like, that's what Saudi does. They just want to see WWE smash the biggest action figure names together. So when someone like Powerhouse Hobbs, who does put in the work, who has put in the time, who is, in my opinion, a great new generational iteration of Mark Henry, to no fanfare, it's like, guys, you're shooting him in the foot because you can only debut for a company once, ever. This was the first impression of him on WWE TV, and he got almost no reaction. In the match, he was great. But I would have saved him as a surprise on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, unlike Jade Cargill, which whenever I first saw her, I was like, oh, okay, so there's a chance that she'll go to NXT. No, with Powerhouse Hobbs or Will Hobbs or Royce Keys, because, I mean, his name sounds way much better than Jeff Cobb. Or, no, JC Mateo, I meant. Yeah, Jeff. But anyways, I can feel that he belongs in Raw or SmackDown because, I mean, his wrestling looked really fucking good, and I can get used to watching him wrestle on Monday Night Raw on a weekly basis or on Friday Night SmackDown. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him on the main roster, but it was a great showing for me because I've never heard of him in a day in my life because I don't watch AEW. So it was a great showing for me.
Yeah, just like Tox, I don't watch AEW, and until you mentioned it a while back, Snug, I didn't even know who the fuck that was. None of us really did until you said something about it. But I will say that as of recently, when it comes to names, WWE has named people really dumb-ass names, and this one is a better one. I still feel like Powerhouse Hobbs would have been a way better name for him. They should have just stuck with that. But Keys is way better than JC Mateo or Talatonga. Like,
Well,
no.
before you say anything, Blood, they did introduce him as formerly known as Powerhouse Hobbs, which I thought was really
I
interesting.
saw it, and it was
But
on
also,
his Titantron.
the name Royce, I believe, came from his son.
Yes.
So
I don't have any
gotta throw that
problem.
out
I don't
there.
have any problem with it. I think it's sweet if it came from his son, but I think pick, because if you're still going to tell us, oh, he used to be Powerhouse Hobbs. He even showed on his entrance arena, fucking Tron, before it switches to Royce Keys. Great theme song, by the way. Surprising that I actually enjoyed it. Look, you could have called him Powerhouse Hobbs, because clearly you have the rights to do so. Otherwise, you wouldn't have shown it or said it. You could have just called him Hobbs, Royce Hobbs,
Willie Hobbs,
or just Royce, or
I would have
just
called him Willie Hobbs,
or just Keys. But I think Royce Keys, it don't roll off the tongue.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to see Royce Keys in the WWE, man. That's gonna be so much fun to see. What else happened in this men's Royal Rumble? That was besides that. Help me, guys. What else happened here besides that?
Brock Lesnar getting eliminated because production was not fucking on point. His elimination came during Jay's entrance.
Okay, thank you, Blood, for reminding me. Hold on. Let me step in here. Hold on. First of all,
for his elimination.
First of all, Brock, thank you, Blood. That was what I was forgetting. Brock Lesnar was in this fucking thing, right? And he showed up and did the Brock Lesnar thing and started fucking shit up, taking people out left and right. As soon as Jey Uso came in, and Jey Uso started yeeting, by the way, it's the Royal Rumble. And we've all seen the memes, right? Where I think it was like War Games where Jey Uso started yeeting in the middle of War Games, right? That was like, what the fuck? This is War Games. Why are you yeeting? So Jey Uso said, fuck y'all, I'm going to yeet in the middle of Royal Rumble. After Brock Lesnar was taking people out left and right, Jey Uso came out. And then in the middle of Jey Uso's entrance, Brock Lesnar got eliminated. Like, while Jey Uso's music was playing, Brock Lesnar got eliminated. Like, it's like Brock Lesnar was like, fuck this, I don't want nothing to do with this. Just throw me over the top rope. I'm out. Fuck this shit.
What's crazy to me is, even if he didn't get eliminated in such a lackluster positioning in the match, because if that's me, and I know that I'm about to send Jay out there, because I'm in communication from Gorilla with the truck, I'm going to say, hey, hold off on Jay's entrance. We need to keep eyes on Brock's elimination. That's what I'm going to say. I'm already on comms with him. It's that quick. Or I'm going to say, hey, tell the refs to tell Brock to stay in longer until the entrance is over. Because legitimately, Brock Lesnar in the Rumble in 2020 was entrant number 1. And this man, as the champion, went through like 12 motherfuckers like he was cutting butter with a hot knife. And he gets eliminated last night in the most fucking Looney Tunes ass fashion. So lackluster, so quick, so forgettable, to the point where, guys, I don't even know who eliminated.
I don't either.
I can help you with that. It was a team up with the team of Cody Rhodes and the megastar LA Knight. Yeah.
Okay, but you would think that would be a big deal.
That should have been a massive, because do you remember the pop in 2020 when Drew Claymore kicked his ass over the top rope? That's what set up their feud where Drew won the title in front of no fans. Like, him eliminating Brock was that big of a deal. If you're going to fly Brock all the way out to Saudi, bruh, you have got to make his moments in the match were worth it. Suplex, everybody, that fucking just eating Ilya's chops and then just, and then Ilya's like, oh, damn. Like, and then you like, for fuck's sakes, to go out that easily. And the thing is, they took Brock out before Roman even.
Yeah.
That's what was crazy to
Yeah.
me. They got him out of there before Roman was involved. Like I couldn't believe it.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
Cody getting eliminated by Drew with a Claymore kick hanging over the rope.
Who's not even in the Rumble?
Yes, but somehow WWE for years has picked and chosen that you can't be eliminated by someone who isn't in the match. You have to be eliminated by an actual competitor. And then they go, oh no, he's eliminated. Drew kicked him and he hit the ground, even though he was not thrown over the top rope by an active competitor. It's just like, but the Brock thing to me if I'm Brock, I'm so fucking mad when I get backstage.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
Fucking furious. I will be
Yeah.
surprised if they don't talk about that on.
Boys,
The only thing I have to say about this is, yay, Brock got eliminated and he didn't win this damn thing. The only thing is that basically Ilya and Ray Phoenix, because those were the only two people that Brock eliminated, I'm pretty sure. They basically got screwed because Ilya had a good two good moments in the match, and then Ray Phoenix comes in there. He jumps in the ring, and there for like what, maybe like a minute or two, he gone, which fucking sucks because the day before he puts on an absolute banger with Carmelo Hayes. So, and surprisingly enough, Ray Phoenix was one of my picks to win this because, I mean, a man can dream. But yeah, I didn't like this whatsoever.
So here's the thing on the whole Cody thing. He was, in fact, thrown over the top rope by an active competitor. It was by Jacob Fatu. He got taken out by Drew McIntyre as he was trying to come back up over the top rope. So technically, they would have given that elimination to Jacob Fatu since he's the one who threw him over the top rope to begin with. But when it comes to the not Gunther thing, we'll get to that here in a second because fuck Gunther somehow limping out to the ring. But when it comes to the Brock Lesnar thing, there is only one reason why I want this man on my screen. And we got the face-off for that reason, boys. Good old Brock Lesnar faced off with Oba fucking Femi in the middle of that ring. That is the only reason why I want Brock Lesnar on my screen, is to have a little thing going on with Oba Femi. Imagine how big just the sellout would be for the thought process of the ruler going head-to-head with the beast incarnate.
I would have thought the bigger moment would have been Gunther finally faces up against Brock, because they brought Gunther out last. I would have at least kept Brock to the final 5 or final 4, and then they all gang up on him to get him out. And then but you know what I also noticed? Brock went straight after Logan Paul. He had no qualms attacking the Vision. Why would he go after the Vision when he was walked out by Paul Heyman, who then also walked out Braun Breaker? Paul leads the Vision, and Brock was technically a part of the Vision in War Game. So I was surprised that he went after, in my opinion, what would be considered a teammate of him. So I just thought that was weird, but let's get to the end of this thing.
yeah, the winner of this whole fucking Royal Rumble, of the men's 2026 Royal Rumble, was Roman Reigns. And as much as I love Roman Reigns, y'all, you know me, I love me, my Tribal Chief. I acknowledge you, Tribal Chief. I couldn't help but wonder, this motherfucker has been gone for so many fucking months. I don't even know how long it's been. And he comes back and he just wins the damn thing. And now I understand that we have to have Roman Reigns in WrestleMania. I get that. But you don't have to win the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns, to be in WrestleMania. You can literally show up and you're in WrestleMania. You're the main event of WrestleMania. You don't have to win the Royal Rumble, bro. You can give that to somebody else who's been there every week, all the months, everything. You haven't not been here, bro. I love you, Roman. But do you really have to win this damn thing? What'd you guys think?
Here's the thing. You're not wrong. Roman is one of those stars that has gotten he's so elevated past a point in what most people would hope to be their careers. He no longer needs the title. He's not a star that needs the title to be a big deal. He doesn't. If anything, a championship needs him. And that's the level he's at. He's at the level of like a Rock, an Austin, a Cena, a Hogan. For his generation, he is at that level where you don't ever need to put a title on him again. And he will forever be regarded as one of the greatest of all time. He just will be. From a story point of view, from a record-breaking point of view, from a record title point, championship reign point of view, this guy, what was it, WrestleMania 40 2 years ago, beat Hulk Hogan's record for the most main events of a WrestleMania with 2 back-to-back main event nights. And then he main evented last year too on night 1. So now he's at what, 10 main events? He's about to be at 11. You didn't need this. And though I love Roman to death, you could have wanted Chamber to be the next fucking, for whoever the runner-up title is. You didn't need this. And I'm not, look, I don't hate that they gave it to him. I just know it wasn't a necessary decision. He's already won a Rumble that people forget that he won. And here's the thing. LA Knight was my pick. And he was this fucking close. He was so close to being that pick. And I think LA needed this. When I look at everybody in the men's match, because you know they're going to insert Braun Breaker into some crazy-ass story. So he's fine. There was no one else in this match on the men's side in the main event scene that needed this more than LA Knight, who has waited longer for this more than LA Knight. Gunther sure shit didn't need it. 3rd year, he's in the final 3, final 2. Didn't need it. He's going to Mania. You know it. Braun's going to Mania. You know they got a story for the Vision. Brock's going to Mania if he wants to. All they got to do is call him, and he's going to say, yeah, they're going to pay him $2 million. Roman's going to fucking be there. LA needed this from a story perspective. Come back, get your comeuppance, eliminate the guys who fucked you over, and get that to cash in at Mania with a Royal Rumble win. First time ever, you're the megastar. You're finally getting the marquee that you. And it's LA Knight, and he'd be in Las fucking Vegas. It's perfect. Nope. But hey, I ain't booking the show.
All right. Before we get into my thoughts, we will get into Toxic's Royal Rumble highlights and facts. The Iron Man of this match, surprisingly enough, is Javon Evans, lasting 40 minutes and 58 seconds, almost at that hour mark, but not there entirely. Also, a surprising fact that the winner, Roman Reigns, and number 1, Obafemi, tied with the most eliminations in this match with 5. Roman Reigns trails on Kane's record of most eliminations in a Royal Rumble match. Kane is at 45. After the Rumble this Saturday, Roman is at 41. So I find that interesting. I'm not mad that Roman won, but it feels like that Triple H went to someone that's like part of Riyadh season or something like that, someone that's in charge, and like, hey, who would you want us to have win the Rumble? And we will book it from there. And that's just what it feels like to me. But I mean, there could have been so many other good options. I have a few written down. Randy freaking Orton. Hate me if you want. Jey Uso. LA Knight. Surprisingly, I would have wanted to see Javon Evans win the damn thing. Damian fucking Priest. Surprisingly enough, Matt Cardona. And number 1, this would be fucking crazy if Obafemi won this shit. First, like, official debut being brought up, winning the fucking Royal Rumble and main eventing WrestleMania. That would be insane. But this match was fucking insane. I'm happy that Roman threw Gunther out. Fuck Gunther. And just, yeah. This Rumble in my opinion, did not beat last year's, but it's close. They're like neck and neck on my list of like, you get the point. But I enjoyed this, and I'm happy for Roman, and this makes me wonder, who does he face? CM Punk or Drew McIntyre? We will find out.
I have a feeling like he's going after the world title because holy crap, good old CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the world title sounds pretty good now, doesn't it? But when it comes to Roman, the last time he won the Royal Rumble was I'm going back and forth for some bizarre reason.
2015.
Okay, that was one of the options. I was going back and forth between 2013 and 2015 for some bizarre reason. But when he won back in 2015, man got booed out of the damn building.
Because he wasn't Daniel Bryan.
And now he's the biggest damn pop of the night, was him winning this Royal Rumble. So I'm hoping he goes after that world title, and I'm hoping CM Punk is still champion by the time Mania comes around.
I got a bigger prediction for you guys now that and Braun got screwed. I smell a triple threat match.
Oh
at
my
WrestleMania.
God. Please.
Roman
no,
Reigns versus CM Punk versus Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. And here's where it gets perfect.
Now that you say that, I can see it.
Here's where it gets perfect. Seth Rollins returns as Braun Breaker is about to win and stomps his lights out.
Let this man cook. Damn.
Here's the thing. Seth has a problem with every single one of those men in this fantasy. But the one guy who is the reason he doesn't have his title anymore is Braun Breaker.
I would rather watch paint dry, bro, if I'm being
Bullshit,
honest.
you would. Because in the middle of that moment, in the middle of that main event, when you see these three guys going at it and what you can guarantee would be a classic, you've got the full reveal and turn of Austin Theory, the return of Seth Rollins, and they get in the middle of this fucking match. I could see it, bro.
I would rather go home with this. Let's get the fuck up out of here. That was the Royal Rumble review. You guys are fucking crazy. What the fuck did y'all eat today, bro? You guys are all over the place, but I love it.
My wife just put my pizza on the table, so that's what I'm about to be. But
thank you guys for everything, for all the fun and the excitement and the Snug Wrestling review. Please be sure to follow us at Mr. Blood. Take us home.
That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Snug Wrestling, guys. That was our review of 2026's Royal Rumble. That is now in the books. And if you were just now listening to this, thank you for joining us here on Apple and Spotify or wherever you were getting your podcast. If you love hanging out with us, you can do it every Monday and Friday night after Raw and SmackDown go off the air, respectively, for live post-show reviews. And for bonus content, you can hit us up on all of our social media channels. That's Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for reactions from segment to segment of regularly weekly scheduled WWE TV. Then you can join us on Wednesday nights where Tommy and Edgar, the head of Snug Wrestling, go one-on-one with the NXT review. And then the following night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and 8 o'clock Central on TikTok Live for myself, Mr. Blood, and again, Edgar, the host and head of Snug Wrestling, go one-on-one for our random or relevant weekly wrestling topics where we do an hour on TikTok Live and also answer your fan questions live as well. Then you can always support the channel and the podcast by heading on over to our tpublic.com/Snug Wrestling, where you can pick up your Snug Wrestling merch so you can support the channel. We have over 100 designs created by us that are on apparel, t-shirts, shorts, hoodies, jackets, your sister's ass, fanny packs, magnets, fucking pens, all that good shit and more at tpublic.com/Snug Wrestling. So guys, thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow night for the Monday Night Raw review at 9 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Central, right after the show goes off the air on YouTube Live, Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and Facebook Live. And boys, that was one time for the one who won the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns. Boys, I said that was 4 letters.
1 word.